Guild Wars 2 announces a Heart of Thorns pre-sale that includes the core game. Albion Online gives a start date for its summer alpha. Star Wars The Old Republic teases its new expansion with the coolest CG trailer I've ever seen. Heroes of the Storm is already hauling in the post-launch content, and yes, the Western version of Blade and Soul is confirmed awesome. What's going on, guys? James Ballon here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the week ending June 22nd, 2015, a week after an awesome E3 experience. There are so many exciting games on the horizon, plenty of stuff covering the entire gamer spectrum. According to the post-E3 statement and E3 2016 date announcement from ESA, the creators of E3, there were more than 52,200 video game professionals, analysts, journalists, and enthusiasts representing 109 countries from around the world at the show last week. There was more than 1,600 products, mainly some form of VR headset, it seemed anyway, from 300 exhibitors. This E3 actually broke social media records, and it was an absolute blast to be there. So starting out the news from E3, in our industry anyway, Motiga, working with Microsoft, announced their extremely fun MOBA shooter hybrid Gigantic is headed to beta this coming August on Windows 10, which releases late July, as well as Xbox One. Now, one of the exciting things about that is that Microsoft recently announced a really cool new cross-play compatibility between the Xbox One and Windows 10. So, not only will you be able to play together on both platforms, but you'll also be able to go back and forth from one another seamlessly. However, if you do plan to play on the Xbox One, you're going to need an Xbox Live Gold account. So, it's always a good time to have a PC. Windows 10 is a free upgrade from Windows 7 and 8. But besides that, a new trailer for Gigantic was posted for E3, featuring a couple of new heroes they planned on showing off. Not to mention, GoGigantic.com has a newly expanded hero page worth checking out. And while you're there, you might as well sign up for the beta. Now, speaking of Xbox One and Windows 10 free-to-play games, if you didn't notice already from my dev interview, Fable Legends was at the show, showcasing cross-platform play, giving attendees at the show hands-on with the Xbox One version of the game for the first time ever. They also unveiled the 10th hero in the game, which is Celeste, a support class, who is part of a community of stargazers, the people of the Great Question. Well, apparently they didn't know exactly what that great question was or how to find the answer, so Celeste sought out the question and the answer in the world of Albion. Cool story, bro. But I can say that seeing the game in person and chatting with the creative director was a really cool experience. Check out my interview video to learn more. Next up, having nothing at all to do with Fable, or E3 for that matter, trust me, Albion Online finally announced the start date of their summer alpha. We've been waiting a little while to hear this, and starting on June 29th, the world of Albion will reopen its ports for players in the alpha to experience the vast and player-driven world. Now, notice I said players in the alpha. You still have to find ways to get in or buy a Founders Pack. The game has not only seen updates in multiple areas since the last alpha in January and February, but also a lot of new features and content, such as Hellgates and missions, have been added in to make the gameplay even more exhilarating. Along with the announcement, Sandbox Interactive released a brand new live-action intro trailer that you see playing here that features the key elements of the game like the player-driven economy, classless character customization, guild versus guild territorial warfare, and cross-platform support. Really well done if you ask me, and it may be tough to get into this game and cost a little bit of money in the end, but I do have a strong feeling that you won't be disappointed when you're in playing the game. Back to the news from E3, Battlecry Studios made a huge appearance right next to Doom, Dishonored 2, and Fallout 4 in the Bethesda booth this year, which I happen to spend a lot of time in. The awesome and intense-looking team-based action combat gorefest of a game was playable at the show via PC with controller support already implemented. And I've got to be honest, it's crazy how hardcore, brutal, and bloody this game is despite having banned the use of gunpowder. Very interesting story there. Also at the show, they've introduced the Han Republic as the latest faction along with their home map, Ironclad. Now, the game is currently in testing in Australia and New Zealand, and the game's global PC beta is set to begin fall of 2015. Again, check out my E3 show floor interview with Battlecry's design director, Lucas Davis, for all of the gory details. Next up, I've got to say, the best E3 cinematic trailer goes to Star Wars The Old Republic with their Knights of the Fallen Empire Sacrifice trailer made by Blur. Seriously, I mean, they really need to make a CG movie just like this. It's better than episode 1, 2, and 3. You've got to watch it when you get the chance. It's fantastic. Anyway, besides that, I got to sit down with Bioware at the show in the E3 booth behind the scenes style to learn about the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion, where the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic have been conquered by a new faction, the Eternal Empire. And in a relatively swift manner, this new faction is full of powerful Force users. And as you might expect from Bioware, choices within the expansion are going to heavily influence combat encounters and dialogue trees, as characters and factions will remember your choices and the outcome of certain missions. Another interesting feature coming with this expansion is the ability for players to level up to the level cap to play along with the storyline, specifically in a streamlined, no side quest fashion. Or players new to the Old Republic will be able to jump right into level 60 and experience the new content for themselves. Knights of the Fallen Empire itself will include 9 chapters at launch and 7 more released over time, and all of the content will be free for all subscribers starting on October 27th. Check out our E3 Day 2 recap for even more details. On a similar note, kinda, ArenaNet gave a surprising announcement at the PC gaming show at E3 last week, revealing that pre-purchase for Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns is now live across territories in the West. Now, they're offering a unique pre-purchase program with perks for all buyers that include access to the upcoming beta weekends, along with a variety of in-game items available across all 3 editions of the game. Not to mention, all pre-purchased editions of Heart of Thorns includes Guild Wars 2, the core game itself, letting new players who don't have the game yet instantly begin their journey. If that doesn't make you want to play the game even more, I'm not sure what will. Sorry. So players who don't have the game just yet can get both the game and the expansion, which also gives them access to the weekend betas and all kinds of in-game items, at the starting price of $49 with a standard edition. Of course, along with that, they were also showcasing guild halls, which was a really cool feature revealed with the expansion at PAX South earlier this year. And I got a chance to sit down with 2 of the game and guild system designers to talk about these new features. So check out that video to see what guild halls offer players. Interesting enough, Blizzard was at the show without a supermassive booth, and no, unfortunately, Overwatch wasn't there. But they were talking about StarCraft II Legacy of the Void, as well as new content coming to Heroes of the Storm. I know, right? New content? It just launched. Oh well, whatever. The new content expansion is called Eternal Conflict, and it's set to include 2 new heroes, Monk and Skeleton King Leoric, new mounts and skins to existing heroes, such as Archangel Diablo and Novazon Nova, and it's supposed to add in new mechanics, such as the Treasure Goblin, similar to that in Diablo, where heroes will have to defeat a goblin prior to the game start in order to receive bonus gold after a match. Nice little post-launch update if you ask me. Surprised it didn't come with the launch, though. Alright, I've been dying to tell you this for the past few days. Yes, NCSoft was at E3. Yes, I did get to meet with them. And yes, I did get to play the Western version of Blade Soul. And yes, it was fan-damn-tastic. But sadly, I can't tell you guys about it just yet. Probably not even supposed to tell you that I actually played it, but that part I'm willing to risk for you guys. All I can say is that anyone excited for this game is definitely in for a huge treat. I thought it was really great and highly anticipated before, but after playing it, I honestly think it just jumped to my most anticipated MMORPG for the year. So if you want to join me in the hype train, you can definitely look forward to our hands-on written coverage coming to you guys really soon. I'll have a link in the description and comments below when it goes live. In non-E3 related news, last week I mentioned that Trove was on a feature implementing Road to launch, and this past week it has started with dragons and badges. The first available dragon is the Azulian dragon, which you're able to earn first as a dragonling pet, then you must collect Azulian dragon souls by completing challenges to raise it to a fledgling status, which is usable as a mount, and then finally raise it as a dragon, which is usable as a flying mount. Now, the truly dedicated players can apparently unlock the legendary Azorian the Blue, which can also use fire breath to barbecue your enemies, which is always helpful. Neat stuff coming to Trove on its road to launch. Learn more about the latest content at the site post at MMOHuts.com. And finally, for our last bit of news, it's not exactly odd to see a game go from buy-to-play to free-to-play. That happens all the time, but seeing a game go from free-to-play to buy-to-play is a little rare if you ask me. This past week, Funcom announced that LEGO Minifigures Online will be launching on PC, Mac, Linux, iOS, and select Android devices on June 29th and will be completely cross-platform with each one of these. Cool, that's all fine and dandy, but Funcom also announced that what we saw was a limited run as a free-to-play game on PC, and that it will now launch on both desktop and mobile platforms as a buy-to-play game. Supposedly, and according to the official post, this is supposed to help them deliver a higher quality experience for everyone. As a result, the developers have spent months overhauling the game to prepare for the launch, which includes new features and content such as unique events, cinematics, voice acting, and overall gameplay additions, and major improvements throughout the entire game. Okay, so it's fine that the game is going buy-to-play ultimately, but it's kinda lame that they are boasting about how much better the game is going to be now that people are expected to spend money on it. Kinda sends a bad vibe to some free-to-play games out there and brings in a whole new respect for free-to-play game companies that offer the best possible development that they have while still making the game free-to-play. Not trying to say anything bad about Funcom here, but there are much better ways to go about this, like perhaps a light version or free version of what the game was before or is now, and a premium option for those who want it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. We can talk about it, but besides that, that's about all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. Returning from E3, we still have plenty of coverage to show you guys going live really soon, including some coverage on King of Wushu, which was really awesome. Check out my new Facebook page from the link in the description below to get some cool E3 pictures from the show floor, and be sure to check out MMOHuts.com for our 3-day recaps of E3, covering everything we saw at the show, including some really awesome new gaming hardware. But like always, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in the recap, check the links in the description below, of course. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below, or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. And until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.